hopefully he's able to recover, you know, and it looks like we're off for the start of Game 2.
Both runners this time choosing to go into the Flashman stage, which makes me wonder if maybe there was a misselect last time, because last time around CapitanBublo started off with the quick stage, which actually started the race off with a nice lead going through that first. The routes are fairly about the same, I have to say. So it should be fairly easy to tell who's in the lead this go around.
Well, definitely for this stage, but you know, I think the next destination after this one would be Flashman, normally speaking, but you know,
do you
you
mean quick?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Minor details. My brain's fried already. You know, somebody broke the commentary controls, and you know.
Yeah, somebody broke it really good. I don't know what they were thinking. I just went in there and I was like, wait a minute, this is different. What does that mean I've done now? Oh no. Oh, I still have to do this. Oh no, that makes that work. Oh.
Yeah.
This is different.
Yeah, it's alright. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, CapitanBublo's finding, wait a second.
Is this Clown Man?
With how much he's jumping around, I certainly would believe it if you tried to convince me of it.
It's an interesting color scheme he's got, but I can't help but say, is this even randomized?
And I think with all of the issues we were having with the commentary controls, I think, you know, nobody remembered to shuffle the deck here. It looks like CapitanBublo's off to Metal Man stage, and we'll see if xapollo follows him over there. Wow. Okay. I mean, I think I would have gone for, you know, Quick Man, like I had said before, and you had corrected me. Or wanted to say before. You know, just kind of get the two easy stages, and if they both happen to have items, it just opens everything up. And it looks like xapollo's going for an item 1 dip.
You might have a little bit better luck this time around, since it's not completely stationary. It is a little bit slow, and it disappears a little fast, so it's still not going to be very easy, but he might find himself in a little bit of luck here with the right placement.
Yeah, I think he's going to end up just losing time, because it looks like he was not very far off on 2 or 3 occasions, and now he's down to what looks like 4 ticks on the life bar, and
not anymore.
Yeah, taking a death.
That sucks. I mean, he spent pretty much the whole time there with the item 1, and still ended up with a death there. That's incredibly unfortunate. Definitely would have been faster to just hoof it on through.
Well, that's, you know, it's part of the risk versus reward. I mean, you could kind of go for it from Apollo's side, going, alright, I'm up a game, you know, why not try the swag strats?
I think he's used to doing them, because he even went for it with the stationary ones a little bit last time around. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just always, it's bad. You feel bad when you see them put so much time into it and it doesn't pay off.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, oh wow, Airman just got dumpstered at the end by CapitanBublo.
Yeah, that fight was over before my eyes could even move to it.
Just happened to be that Airman decided it would be a real good idea to try to test the theory of, if I don't throw any fans out in front of me to block buster shots, let's see how fast I can get crushed.
And we're already in the crash stage. I guess seeing item 1 and its behavior was enough. Convince him he might as well just get it over with here.
seeing this makes me want to cry for mommy, though. Oh, no.
Yeah, you never want to see the frogs in here. You also don't want to see the shrimp either. So far, none of them. Not entirely certain. Oh, he's not going for the zip at all, then. Oh, boy. Well, he does have item 1, so he should be able to use that to get himself up these platform screens that are coming up at least fairly quick. Hopefully the shrimp won't be there. No, but we do have the frogs, but they shouldn't be as much of an issue, I would think.
If he can get up off of the ground to where the little mini frogs can't reach him, then yeah, absolutely. It looks like through the first elevator just fine. But, oh, this is so gross.
Oh, yeah, it's very laggy. Now, in order to make that jump there, he would have had to do a few pause buffers in order to make the ladder, which is doable, but with all this lag, it's actually harder than usual to pause buffer successfully, because at the end of a pause, you have to wait for Mega Man to go through a certain little teleport animation, a little blip real quick, but it's not real quick with all the lag, so the timing just gets real tricky.
I mean, the one good thing that I can say is that, you know, the positioning of the frogs and the larger dispensers was not so bad that Bublo was getting knocked off of the platforms before he could even really react to it. So, you know,
that's pretty much everything right there. They allowed him to actually get up the ladder successfully, and they allowed him to use his item once as he needed to. So, you know, for being so many and causing so much lag, they were still relatively friendly frogs, at least.
Yeah, that's very true. And it looks like we have our space monkeys in the second half of Airman just kind of noping on out of there, telling xapollo, you may pass.
Yeah, this is one of those situations that I was talking about last time, where you could get bats, or you could get space monkeys, apparently, and the air stage suddenly becomes a really easy stage, rather than one of the hardest ones. A literal walk in the park.
Okay, CapitanBublo did not forget his item 1 energy this time, getting that E-Tank, being able to get through pretty quickly. So, looks like we got a little episode of Robot Chicken going on here for CapitanBublo.
Yeah, that was pretty close. If he hadn't moved over just when he did, another one would have spawned and likely taken him out there. So that was actually pretty lucky there on his part. And he did opt for the E-Tank, so in theory he should be okay in here. It's Woodman, let's see what we get. Looks like he's a fast Woodman. He's not managing to hit
CapitanBublo trying to use the metal shot, and it's just not working. Crash Bomb, nope. Looks like this might be a second E-Tank episode here.
Yeah, we'll see. He's doing a good job of dodging this. It'll be a slow fight at this rate, but at least he won't die if he can keep this up. And
now, am I seeing this correctly? The leaps from the top are just going, nope, bye, see ya, peacing out up on the top of the screen instead of falling downward.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's another part of the randomizer. I have not seen that in vanilla, but I do see it on some randomizers where they'll actually just go up and off the screen immediately.
It looks like
you got that zip there on Bubble. Very nicely done.
Just kind of brawl it out with Woodman at this point, knowing that Bublo still has an E-Tank left to use. There we go. Bublo taking out Woodman at the end of the Crashman stage, although that was a bit of an episode there.
Yeah, but he made it through. No, not too many problems. Just a little bit of suspense.
Yeah, very true. I mean, if I had the choice of having Crashman stage done or still yet to complete, I think I'd always pick, having Crashman stage done. It's just such a pain.
Yeah, I agree. I always save it for last if I can help it, and I never really want to go through the stage. The stage itself, it wasn't too bad overall. The boss was a little wonky, but other than that, that stage was okay. Nice to see that every now and then.
Now, do you think that was more from an execution standpoint because of Woodman not being on the Metal Man stage like he was in Game 1? Can you just kind of get right up close and personal and just, you know, brawl it out with Woodman?
Yeah, you can get right up there and do that. It's easy. It's much easier without the conveyor. I would have to say. But when Woodman is so accelerated like he was on this seed, I would say it's probably best to avoid trying to get close to him and worry more about timing, figuring out the timing for when he throws that leaf shield so you can jump it, and then you can deal some damage to him as he jumps between positions on the screen.
Okay, I mean, you know, that's why I was kind of asking the question. You know, I'm gonna defer to somebody who, well, given the status of my hand, it makes it a little difficult for me to run the game as much as I'd like, but, you know, I'd go to the, you know, expert opinion here.
Nice slow burn going on in the water while Apollo's stopping the dogs. Oh no, what happened there? Did he do it too late? Oh, I see what happened. The flash stopper actually didn't work the entire time. It stops. It stops stopping, which is usually a good thing, but on these particular screens, it's nice to be able to rely on it not stopping.
Yeah, that's one of those times where it's just like, please last for as long as you like, because I don't want to have to deal with anything. And this Heat Man just seems to be atrocious.
A lot of people don't really like a slow-burning Heat. Myself, I really do, because you can stay real close to him, and you can make sure he's not going to move far at all, because he's only going to get so close to you when he's like this, usually. He won't usually go exactly to where you're standing. So you can use that to manipulate him and just slowly drag him across the screen, and just keep hitting him as quick as you can. I prefer it. Some people hate it. They want to just see him move faster and get it done with quickly. But I'm not sure if it's actually any faster if he moves faster. I think it's about where you position him.
Well, I think with, you know, having to hit him, I believe it's 14 times, since it looked like the Buster Shot was only doing 2 damage. I think the faster he cycles through, you know, the faster I can kill him.
Yes.
You know, kind of, you know, throw, you know, caution to the wind, as the saying goes.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what I mean, though, because when he moves faster, you end up having to make him move farther than you do when he's moving slower, because you could just slowly drag him across the screen, and it comes down to the amount of time between you shooting him and him deciding to move at that point, rather than distance.
That's true.
So I'm not entirely sure what the real trade-off is. I've never timed it or compared it or anything. I feel like in some situations it is faster if you stick real close to him like that when he's moving slow.
Well, I mean, we have the ability to kind of just speculate about it a little bit, so, you know, why not? And it looks like CapitanBublo was going down the right side, where xapollo in Game 1 was running into trouble with the quick beams as he was going down the left side.
Yeah, it was pretty close. He almost got licked by the licorice there for a second.
Yeah, don't try that at home. It tends to be hazardous to your health.
Here we have the heat stage here. All right in the beginning. Metroids everywhere. Gear guys. I saw a Sniper Joe. This is going to be a fun one to get across. But it looks like the Quick Boomerang is doing a pretty decent job of holding everything at bay.
Yeah, it looks like it's effective against everything. So, you know, at least xapollo has, well, the Quick Boomerang's using so little item energy per use as well. And just about the best possible scenario for coming down to using any kind of weapon energy to just trade off going through the stage as fast as possible.
CapitanBublo just made quick work of the Fat Crash in the quick stage there. I call him the Fat Crash because he's really hyper, but he tries to jump a lot, but he just can't seem to get any kind of height there. He ends up shooting quite a few times there sometimes, and it can get laggy and generate actually additional iframes for you, which is good.
Okay, I was kind of wondering what Apollo was doing there, not just kind of insta-switching to the item 2 and taking a ride. Almost, you know, tricked me into thinking, okay, he's gonna go for the Yoku blocks at this point.
And CapitanBublo there accidentally despawned one of the Hermit Crab guys. He wasn't quite sure if he did or not for a second there, but this bubble is doing pretty good work to everything else except for those Hermit Crab guys. It takes right off of them. I'm not sure what he's going to go for instead. Metal Blade, one shot and they're done. But then it takes off of other enemies. And what are we seeing on xapollo2's stage? What is this? This is randomized, you guys, okay? We cannot even make the joke on this. I've never seen this. I'm not sure what to make of it, but this is randomized, whatever this is. I can't even think of where he would be spawning with a Met to his left.
I don't get it.
Is it a ladder screen?
Is this...
Well, this might be... he might have wrapped to a Wily stage that's connected to the heat stage data.
Oh, no.
He might be in Wily 1. In which
so
case,
is he just gonna have to force a game over?
Yeah. Yeah, and if he does that and he hits continue, it should put him in the beginning of heat stage, if that's what's going on here. I'm really not sure, though.
Oh, it'd be so disappointing to have him, you know, end up getting nailed by another, you know, glitch, basically.
Yeah.
Both games.
To go back and see how he wound up there. That's interesting.
Yeah,
there we go.
Don't
We're in the correct
understand
stage
what
now.
happened at all, to be honest with you.
A lot of the Mega Man 2 stages, the main 8 stages, they also have Wily stage data in their layout. Like it will literally just load a separate flag and then load this stage and put you in the checkpoint for the Wily stage when you're on the corresponding Wily stage, which is why in Bubble we can find Wily 4 so frequently, because Bubble and Wily 4 are the same stage, just with a different flag set, so to speak.
Oh, okay. So the Bubble Man stage is basically the first half of the data of the stage, and then the Wily stage is basically the second half of what the entirety of the data is.
It's all right there, all at once, and the only things that really change are what tile set is used and what boss will spawn. And of course, you have to be in its room to spawn it anyway. But like, if you're on Bubble stage and you make it into the Boo Beam room, Boo Beam will not spawn.
Oh, well, that's I can see how that would be a slight little problem.
It's a little bit of one. And it can be kind of tricky to figure out how to get game over in that room with nothing existing in it.
Well, I think they call that, what, the reset button?
Yes, I believe that's what that's called.
But I mean, oh, that would basically force you to start over all again, wouldn't it? Like, basically right from the, you know, as if you were starting the game?
Yep, back to square one. That's That's about the only way out unless you have a save state, but I mean, in something like this, I don't know that they would allow you to load it, but at the same time, considering seeds are handed out right before the match, if you happen to have one, they might allow it depending on circumstance. I don't know. Not my call.
I think the rules only allow you to continue if something happens like that if you're in the Wily stages. Because you're guaranteed to have all of the items and all of the weapons. I recall seeing something that was actually discussed about this as CapitanBublo finishes off the Goodwood zip. And somehow got straight to the boss.
Yeah, that's how that zip works. You end up somehow just before, or no, I think you end up in the boss hallway, but at the bottom of the screen, so you fall to your death. It doesn't look like it to you, but that's where you are, so it sets the flag for the checkpoint. So naturally, after you die, you'll come to your checkpoint, which is right there in that hall.
Okay. Yeah, I know the Goodwood zip happened, but usually it puts you at the part where I think you have to jump across and you skip all the parts where you go upward.
No, because there's no checkpoint between those two screens, so I don't believe that does skip it like that, unless there's maybe a different version of it. But usually they go through until they can force that death there at that spot, and it somehow or another sets the flag for the checkpoint, and they're able to spawn in the hallway there before the boss, with full health no less, which is also great.
Yeah, that's true. CapitanBublo looks like he's gonna just try to fight his way through this stage as best he can.
Ooh, took a bonk in the air there on the Metroid and dropped him to his death. Meanwhile, we got Apollo here working the lasers with the flash stopper, which is a pretty good idea. Gives him a much safer gap between the lasers here.
Looks like CapitanBublo is running out the Metal Blade. Just kind of using that as a lead blocker to try to clear everything out.
I can't blame him. It's working really well on them Metroids, and it's not half bad on the Gear guys either here, so could be that that's really the weapon of choice for him to get through it. Plus, you can aim it in every direction, so this guy, if he appears above his head, won't be such a problem now. But he makes it across just fine now. Hopefully he won't run into the weird Wily whatever glitch that was. I still want to say that was Wily 1, but I really don't know.
According to LV Creed in the chat, he's blaming it on Bubbleman and some kind of interaction there, but, you know, I just have no idea what happened, and, I'm gonna trust LV Creed on that one and, you know, chalk it up to, something happened with, Bubbleman. To be honest with you, I have no better explanation to, you know, kind of pull one of those I reject your reality and substitute my own sort of things.
No, I think he's actually quite accurate. I did not see that. The chat's only in the center of the screen. You'd think I would see it in front of my face, but no, I didn't see it for a second there. Now that I'm reading his paragraphs, it's like, oh, yeah, exactly that. That's what happened.
You know, thank you, LV Creed, for coming through and explaining what was going on with xapollo there, as it looks like xapollo is trying for the crash zip.
This is going to be a little bit tricky here, especially because of that short item 1 duration, at least for its speed. It's kind of precise how he has to place it, which means he's probably going to bonk his head every time he goes for it. And he has to get just a little bit higher than that, I believe, in order to actually pull the zip off with this particular item 1. It looks like he's going to forego it and just hoof it through the stage, which I can't blame him for in the least. He already had a similar event transpire in the metal stage due to the speed and duration of this item 1. Might as well just keep it moving right along since it's made it clear it's going to be a problem.
I'm not sure if this is a good or a bad thing. The Metal Gears seem to be good against the smaller frogs, but the bigger ones look like they take a couple of Metal Gears before they break apart. But CapitanBublo at 25 even is starting up Wily 1. I think you know what that means.
Oh, I think I do. It means black skies, gray clouds, and, a random dragon color that we have to try to figure out before we get there.
Well, I went first last time, so I think it's only right I allow you to first this time.
I'm gonna go with green and blue, and, I'm gonna stick with the metal weakness, because I never see it, so let's just be stubborn until we get it.
I like it. I think I'm gonna, just because my buddy Talentless is in the chat, I saw him, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And, what do I want for the weakness now?
We always want Flash, but we know it can't be.
Yeah, that's true. I'm gonna go with the air shooter this time around.
That's a safe one. I see that one pretty frequently, like to the point that it's actually the first thing I tend to check unless charged heat doesn't have to charge. But other than that, I usually check air shooter first because I found it so many times to be the weakness.
Now, how often is the Buster one of the dragon's weaknesses?
About 25% of the time.
Okay, so it basically is in the same pool of weapons that the dragon can be weak to.
Well, the way it's rolled is a little weird, but they roll 2 weaknesses, and they also roll a separate chance for the Buster to be a weakness. But that chance is not exactly 50-50.
Well, I think that went, there's the Buster, Crash, and Metal Blade are negative. Looks like...
There's negative. Oh boy.
Looked like Uncharged Heat, CapitanBublo ran out. Looks like Leaf Shield's our winner today.
Well, Uncharged Heat... Oh! Nasty hit there. Uncharged Heat is registered the same as the Buster. And usually it actually doesn't even use weapon energy. Or at least so little that it takes forever for it to go down 1 tick if it does. But it looked like Heat was instant charge again.
Well, it looked like it was, at least in Game 1, it was very power-hungry, but, now, at least CapitanBublo knows what he wants to do in the way of probably just going with the, Leaf Shield again, finding it and going, alright, I just want to be done with this. Get me to Wily 2, please.
Yeah, the pressure's got to be on already. I'm sure it's the same for everybody. Myself, once we're in the Wily stages, a death anywhere, that gets me to start looking for that dot done. I can't shake the feeling they've got to be ahead. Can't mess up. Get it right. I'm sure he's really feeling that pressure this time.
To be honest with you, I mean, it's got to be multiplied for CapitanBublo because, I mean, down a game, you know, and again, no.
Actually just barely lost his lead here. They're on the same screen for a few seconds, but the tide has turned for now. Of course, it could still be either of them to get through this first. Capitan having the advantage of knowing what to use against the dragon, whereas Apollo's going to have to go fishing for it unless he gets really lucky. But yeah, this is still not clear who's going to come out of this stage first.
I feel so bad for CapitanBublo though, because it just seems like, you know, you make the one little mistake and it just seems to, you know, unravel him to the point where it just, you know, kind of, you know, that little drop in a bucket is just turning into like a you know, a typhoon at this point.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, it's always sad to see somebody fall to the dragon because there's so much platforming just getting to the part of the fight, and all the suspense adding up, and then you find the weakness, and then the dragon's just so big and mean he doesn't care. He just picks you up and throws you to the ground, and that's it. Try again if you make it back.
Yeah, it's definitely you know, one of the harder fights in the entirety of the game for me. xapollo looked like the first time using Leaf Shield, finding that the control is inverted left and right. So that might be causing a lot of the problem.
And Apollo gets through it first try. Oh wow, Bublo's trying some other things. He found that Crash looked like it was working. I'm seeing the screen flashing anyway. Maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was doing any damage. It looks like, oh boy.
Ouch.
Oh, just to the
Third
damage time.
Meanwhile, Apollo proceeding through Wily 2 here, ready to whip out his item 2 and float across the spikes. I believe he takes a different path than we're used to, though. I think he actually forfeits at least one, if not both, E-tanks in the stage, unless he's gonna prove me wrong here and take the ladder to the right, but I don't think that's his usual route.
Well, he may do that this time around, and he just proved me wrong. I figured he would have gone tank because, you know, he just has one E-tank, but this makes up a whole bunch of time.
And I think that's what it's really about, is that the fall is just a little faster if you take the other ladder there. And with being allowed to use item 2 so much, it's really easy to just get up and over them crash walls and not even have to test the weakness there.
And it looks like CapitanBublo is on an item that is out of energy. I think he may have to go searching. Hopefully it's not the charged version of the heat, because
just
that's about all I can think of.
It was just item 1, which if he's out of lives, it won't matter at this point. Oh, he still has one left. Wow, he's got a lot of lives.
He picked up a good number of extra lives on his way through.
Yeah,
he was on 5 at the beginning of this stage. But we found that quick boomerang is probably the most effective way of you know, training your dragon here today. And
yeah, even if it doesn't do much damage, you can very quickly fire it. Even if you're not proficient in mashing, you can just hold that button and it fires fairly quick. You take them out in 1 or 2 cycles with it.
I think Bublo is searching for some item energy, and this is going to push him back a little bit. Ah, there we go.
And Apollo's, well, was fishing for a weakness to the Pico there, but he found charged heat to work incredibly well. It's not even using much weapon energy this time around, so he's actually still going to have some left coming out of this fight, it looks like.
I think if I'm Bublo, I'm just kind of going, alright, I've got my item 1 energy, time to take, you know, what's basically my last shot at the dragon here. Hopefully he also has well, I don't think he used very much of the quick boomerang item energy.
Alright, here we got xapollo2 fishing for the crash wall weakness. He wants that E-tank, and he probably wants that weapon energy down there too. And it turns out to be Bubble, one of the harder ones to use against him. Meanwhile, Capitan wrapped up the dragon pretty easily this time around with the quick boomerang. It makes real short work of him when he's weak to it. It's just unfortunate to find that weakness so late into it, and after so many deaths. I believe that was, what, 4 deaths to the dragon?
I believe so, yes.
Nasty dragon. He's the second worst thing in the game, in my opinion, right next to Wily 4.
I mean, I personally think, you know, this is a good argument as to why, you know, the dragon is just, you know, one of those things where, you know, you think you're gonna win and then you jump a little too close, touch the dragon, and poof, you're done. It looks like Bublo's gonna go for the right ladder.
Usually a smarter move in the randomizer, because you just don't know how well those Wily stages are really going to go for you, and yet you can end up with 2 additional E-tanks in your menu after going through this. In my opinion, usually works.
And going with the Crash Bomb, which was Game 1's weakness. Metal, nope. Flash, we know, nope. Quick, nope. There you go, Bubble.
And just that quick, the Guts tank is down on Apollo's side over there. That's one of the fastest stages and bosses usually in this entire game is Wily 3 for sure. Even if you stop to smell the roses and pick up that E-tank and weapon energy and all that stuff off to the side in the initial drop, the stage is still just barely over 2 minutes, including the boss and fishing for weakness.
Well, it looked like it was the bubble shot, because both CapitanBublo and xapollo had the same color scheme to their Mega Man, and we know Bublo was using the bubble shot at that point to break the crash wall.
Yeah, I believe Apollo was using the bubble on him there.
Alright, so now it's on Apollo to, just kind of skip over where the pits may be and put that item 2 to good use.
Bublo looked like he just wanted a little bit of a refresher on his health there before he goes into the Pico fight. Little does he know, he is fully equipped already to handle this fight like nothing. But it's always better to be safe than sorry. I don't think I would have made a different decision there, to be honest.
Yeah, at this point, I don't believe he has any extra men in reserve, so you can't trade an extra life. Not that you would on a Wily stage take a death, because it's not like you get put right back to the gate where the boss is. You get sent back, you know, halfway, if not further, into the stage. And, well, if you take the game over, you go back to the beginning of whatever Wily stage you were.
Yeah, nobody ever wants to do that unless they're already in the beginning of said stage and perhaps low on weapon energy. Then sometimes, yeah, okay, maybe. But yeah, usually you want to avoid that at all costs if you can help it with an E-tank. The only exception, of course, being the dragon who just throws you into the pits of oblivion, but him aside, yeah, usually you can be safer like that.
xapollo, choosing not to use the pause buffer to wrap around the bottom side of the third elevator screen. And
yeah, I haven't seen him go for that. It's entirely possible he either doesn't know about it, or maybe he's not confident enough in it yet. I'm not sure what the case may be, but I know I've seen him do the zip on Bubble stage, so he can definitely do it. He just either doesn't know or feels he's not ready to put it into a run.
I mean, I can see, you know, the risk versus reward sort of thing. You mess it up, you get a little too close to, you know, hitting a spike or doing who knows
exactly.
what.
Exactly. It's definitely a far riskier trade-off than the Buster Zip on Bubble stage there, because on Bubble stage, if you mess it up, well, then you just walk through the gamut of spikes and everything. Whereas on Wily 4 there, you mess that one up, you're dead.
Yeah, there's, you know, just no kind of way to sugarcoat that. You're right, it's just, yeah, you're done.
Yeah, these Mega Man games, every one of them can be pretty punishing as it is, and the randomizer is absolutely no exception to that rule.
Yeah, in some ways it can make it worse, and others, you know, like the Airman that we got, the second part of it was chock full of space monkeys that just noped on out of there, and so, oh, okay. You get a little rest break this time around.
It's always nice to find things like that. It looks like Apollo went and found the leaf shield there to be the blue beam weakness. Once he found that, he made very quick work of them. It's unfortunate he didn't test it early, because you can get away with taking out a few of them before you even go after the crash walls, and you can actually get away with destroying fewer crash walls as well. But either way, he got through there pretty easily. He's moving on to the refights here.
Now, I'm going to ask you an honest question. Because you are a Buster-only player, do you ever check, you know, the items at that point in the Boo Beam fight? Because you know you're going to have to use one to break the crash wall.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean by do I check the items.
Or, check the weapons, I'm sorry. You know, I kind of use that term interchangeably because, you know, I keep thinking the weapons are, you know, kind of items at Mega Man's disposal.
Do you mean, do I, like, check everything to see if everything works? Or do you mean, like, my weapon energy amounts?
The weapons. Like, in the way of, do you check the Metal Blade to see if you can forego some of the crash walls?
Oftentimes I will, unless something earlier required me to use a lot of it and I don't have much, then I might not start off with that.
Okay.
But yeah, usually I'll try metal and wood just to see if I can take out that one above you immediately in the fight there. And if it works, then I usually know what to do from there. If it doesn't work, then I just start concentrating on the walls and taking them out of the way, and I'll figure it out after I get rid of the walls. And the only reason I do that like that is because I'm so bad at those corner jumps, and I can't use item 1 to negate them, because of course I play Buster only.
Yeah, okay. You know, I know your rules are a little different, as it were, than you know, what I would say, you know, the common strategy is compared to the Buster-only method of doing things, as xapollo is into his 6th Robot Master fight.
Yeah, and the only reason I check first is because if it fails, then there won't be any harm done anyway.
Fair enough.
And here we have Clown Man on Apollo's screen dancing left and right.
Oh, and there he goes. He finally pulled off his little trick of using the time stopper. It looks like here's Robot Master number 8 for xapollo.
Good old Quick Brick. He's a brick because when he hits you with his body, it really hurts.
Very true.
And here we go. Capitan coming into the Boo Beam fight, and xapollo coming into the Wily Machine fight at the same time. And Bublo immediately goes for the leaf shield there, and he does find that it works. So he's dispatched 2 of the Boo Beams already. At least 2 of them. I can't see the third.
Yeah, the 3 that are on the right side are still alive, and it looks like Bublo's going to fix that pretty quickly at this point, using a pause buffer to avoid the damage.
Yep, and like this, he only has to destroy the 2 crash walls in order to defeat the entire boss. And he opted for the third one for, I'm not sure why there. Maybe he was afraid that
He might be out of wood energy.
Wood energy, that's what's going on here. He's looking for something else, and much to his surprise, he's going to find that there is nothing else, because the Boo Beam only has one weakness ever.
Oh no.
Well, while Bublo figures that out, guys, get your guesses in for alien colors and weakness here, because xapollo is running down Victory Road here, and he's just about to the door as we speak.
Well, I'm gonna go, It's a Barbie World.
Barbie World, I'm with you.
But, oh, that's so unfortunate for CapitanBublo. Oh.
Got a yellow alien with a green head, but what's he gonna be weak against?
Well, not heat, not air, not leaf shield, not bubble, not quick boomerang.
Yikes, we're running out of stuff quick here.
Not metal.
Crash? It's Crash.
Oh.
Wow. That's one of our favorites around here, is a Crash Week alien, and he finishes it up with an official SRL time of 46 minutes and 1 second. Very nicely done there, Apollo.
Alright, and that is game 2 in Apollo's favor. So it looks like Apollo will be moving on, and since this was a loser's bracket elimination match, CapitanBublo will be unfortunately eliminated from the tournament. And I think CapitanBublo has just said it's 4 a.m. and I think he's gonna nope on out of here. We can maybe pull them in for a little interview and go from there. Yeah, it's official. CapitanBublo has forfeited this second match. I think the whole time difference was starting to weigh in on him, because starting at 2 o'clock in the morning and ending at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Yikes.
not the easiest thing to do.
No, not at all. I can't help but wonder if that had an effect on any of the things that went wrong with this run tonight, particularly that dragon. Boy, that thing was rough.
Yeah, I mean, I never want to, say anything, but yeah, swap me out for CapitanBublo, and at 3 in the morning, I'm just gonna be,
useless. Zombie mode, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I've started a race during the tournament just at midnight, and like I stay up till 2 or 3 a.m. as it is, but I mean, honestly, after 10 p.m., that's zombie mode time for me. I'm awake by technicality.
Yeah. Oh, I can certainly see where you're at in that, and just about happens to me as well. Just but at the end of the day, we have xapollo2 moving on to the final bracket draw, taking down game 1 and 2, winning the series 2-0 over CapitanBublo. And I think we are looking at trying to get at least xapollo in for an interview.
It would be nice if they could both make it, but I totally will not blame Capitan if he does not want to, it being 4 a.m. where he is already. I would be probably just turning off my computer and laying on the floor in front of it to catch a nap at that point.
And I think You know, with the tracker going a little wonky on us, normally it should send out an invite once the match is decided, but I think with the issues that we've had, it may have not realized that was the deciding game of the match, and hopefully somebody could grab Apollo and dump him into our commentary room. So I know I cannot do it, unfortunately.
No, neither can I, unfortunately. Yeah, this is either something is inaccurate involving the speed gaming information they have on this Discord user, or it could just all be my fault. That is entirely possible.
Knowing what I know, I think it's a little bit of column A and column B, but, you know, I don't want to put the blame on any one thing in particular. So, just hopefully need to grab somebody and pull them over. Oh, I heard a Discord ping. Hopefully that
there he is.
means we got somebody magically appearing.
GG's, man! Congratulations on that. Those victories were pretty substantial. That first one in particular. Wow. We did not see it coming. I don't know if you did, but we didn't see it coming until Wily 4. There was some craziness that went on in there on the other side of the screen there, but looked like you trudged right on through.
Yeah, I
had a decent lead.
I actually my emulator crashed as soon as we started the run, so I was already, you know, 30 seconds or whatever, how long it took me to get it back up, and then a couple game overs early on. I think it was just me not being warmed up, and then I was completely in the dark. I thought he was just gonna crush me. I was like, yeah, you know, just go with the flow and do what we get. And well, I mean, I guess I pulled ahead. Now he does have a pretty big time difference, so I can definitely understand if he's tired. So I do kind of feel bad about that. But this was the earliest that he could do it, and this is the earliest I could do it, and I think this is the latest he could start. So we kind of had some scheduling issues since he's what is it? Said, Western European time or in England.
Yeah, he said it was 4 in the morning basically when you finished game 2. So compared to us in the Eastern time zone where it's 10 o'clock, that would put him 6 hours ahead, and I think that's mid-Europe.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a good race. I kind of ran into a soft lock issue on race 2 with Bubble. Yeah. Bubble. I was on the Heatman stage. Bubble hit me with a bubble, and then I framed out, zipped back to the beginning of the stage with no background, no floor textures or anything like that.
That was actually Wily 3.
Was it Wily 3?
Yep. That was actually Wily 3. Just like how in Bubble Man you can rap like that and get on Wily 4, Wily 3's stage data shares a space with Heatman stage. So you were in a not functioning Wily 3. Even if you'd made it to the boss would have never spawned, unfortunately.
Right.
So definitely.
So I figured it was just best to game over there.
Absolutely.
So that killed me about, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 minutes, or maybe 2 minutes. Because I had so many lives. I think I had 4 lives at that point. So I'm just sitting there getting killed by the Met. hoping he's going to do enough damage in enough time for me to be able to catch up.
Well, interestingly enough, the biggest changes in the races were in the first two Wily stages. In the first race, it actually was in Wily 2 that you had made up an exorbitant amount of time and actually wound up fighting the Pico at the same time as CapitanBublo. Now, it took 2 more stages to actually overtake the lead, but you picked up probably a good 30 seconds in that stage alone, not to mention you had probably had to save another minute and a half or so over the 8 robos.
Yeah, I made up quite a bit of time, especially, I mean, my I smashed my reset button on the last one, so my splits didn't save, so I don't really know where I've been, where I was sitting. But this one, I mean, from my other splits, I made I green and golded all of the Wily stages. I greened my 8 robot master split. This was a really good run for me, even though I did game over a couple times. I think it was just dumb mistakes, but it was a really good run for me. I think this is one of the best ones as far as pacing goes, minus a couple hiccups here and there.
Now, for a little bit of perspective, I'm going to let you know that Bublo was the first into the Wily stages in both games. And
Wow.
You had overtaken Bublo both times in the Wily stages.
Wow.
Game
Yeah,
2,
was...
Bublo struggled mightily against the dragon, and you passed him there. Game 1 was a slightly different animal.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of getting used to getting screwed over by dragon with wood. It's pretty common for my seeds that I play off stream and practice to get reverse wood with dragon having the wood weakness. It sucks, but you got to kind of just power through it, and it's all about, for me, switching back and forth between those two the middle platform and the top platform. Just hit them once, don't get greedy. I know you can take one fire hit or whatever at the top platform and get knocked down to the second one, but I think in a race it's probably for me it's just better for safe strats it might take an extra 2 to 5 seconds or whatever to kill him, but the dragon is definitely one of the more difficult ones when you get those crazy when you get the rocket bubble where it shoots literally straight up and diagonal, and then you'll get like the wood that's reversed and that kind of stuff. So it comes and goes as far as the
Well, Bublo found a slightly different strategy, and that was a quick boomerang to get through the dragon. I believe the dragon has at least 2 weaknesses, so I may
I think it's
advise you going
3,
forward when you get the leaf shield like that, just kind of nope out of it and try to find whatever that other weakness is.
I think well, yeah, I mean, in certain situations, I guess with the wood, if it's not doing enough damage, I think if it's 5 hits, it's okay, maybe 6 hits, because then, you'll see me, I'll have to go through every single one of those until like, oh, it's not quick. So, well, what do we go to next? Try Buster. I usually try Buster first because it's just the easiest to switch out of, and plus, I'm really hoping for that. I'm hoping for that God seed where it's Buster only dragon, kind of like you're hoping for the Buster only alien, or the Picos, or so.
Oh, you got that at the end of the first game with the Buster machine and alien.
You should have saw my face. It was like PogChamp all over. It was just crazy. I big O'd and got really excited and bursted him down, and it was good. I love those seeds where it's not bubble, where bubble's like it's super slow. You can't mash it because it stays on the screen forever. It only allows 1 on the screen. It's those kind of seeds that really kind of they kind of hit you, and you can lose a lot of time towards the end of the race. You might be a stage ahead, but they might catch up to you because they're better at hugging the alien, which I am not. And I typically will face the alien one time, and then he'll get me with a stray lemon or something like that, and I'll just end up dying. So I was pretty lucky when it comes to my strengths for these last 2 games. I think that my first race against Creed, it was just there was difficult seeds, really difficult seeds. I don't want to say these ones are easy in the grand scheme of things, but I think comparing these 2 seeds to the 2 seeds that I raced Creed with, these ones were definitely significantly easier.
Well, I'm going to congratulate you because as part of this win, you've won yourself 2 more seeds in the tournament to be run at your leisure. Well, actually 4, because you get 2 groups of at least 2.
Yeah. I'm excited to get go to the next stage, and when the brackets get set, I'll get in contact with whoever I'm going against, and we'll have a couple more games here. So it's always a pleasure, guys.
Just because I like to ask and stir the pot a little bit, are there any of the other runners that you're kind of hoping you do or maybe don't get matched up against right at the start?
Oh man, there's a list. I mean, I'm sitting. My fastest time is sub 45, so it's like 44 and change. I don't really know. I don't know who I wouldn't want to go against. Squidman, I definitely don't want to go against him. Stuffy is ridiculous. Definitely. I'll take no Kumba over Squid and Stuff any days. Just because, Kumba. Kumba can do the crash zip with a stationary item 1. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I definitely hope I don't go against Kumba, which I don't think he will. I think he's in like the winners bracket right now still. So
none of that matters because the finals bracket is completely redrawn. Think of this as kind of like a qualifying stage to get to that final bracket.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So as you pass through the qualifiers, everything's reset. So even if you're in the losers bracket at this point, everything resets. Everybody's back into the winner's half of the bracket.
Oh, I see.
What
you're
saying is I'll end up with Kumba, he'll end up with Squidman.
Kumba, you're gonna have to change your ways. You're not Kumba, Cammy. You're gonna have to change your ways. You're gonna have to actually use weapons if you want to keep up.
No, I don't have to.
Come on.
Buster only pride. I love it.
Everything in the next seed is going to be immune to Buster, just so you know, because that's your luck.
It is my luck, but I mean, still, I usually finish around 40 minutes, if not 35 to 38. I got a chance at least against most. Not all, but most. There's 3 names I can think of off the top of my head that I don't really have a chance against at all.
Yeah. And you do zipless, don't you?
Well, not technically. I mean, I can't do most of the zips, but I do zip on bubble stage because of the pause buffer zip that we saw you doing earlier as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little mini zip on wood stage. After you kill the first dog, if you jump up towards the ceiling, you'll actually be in the ceiling on the next screen, and if you press left real quick, he'll zip through it. It's a very minuscule zip, but it's a zip by technicality, I guess.
Oh, instead of flashing to freeze the dogs, you just do that, and it pops you into the next room.
No, it doesn't really skip much other than like 4 or 5 tiles. Just puts me closer to the next dog so I can kill him a little faster. That's all it really does. I don't skip any of them.
Oh, I see. I'll have to keep that one in mind when I have to kill the dogs. when the flash is 1 second long.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did see that happen to you on the second race this time. I was actually a little confused at first because I forgot it did that. Because I think in the in the first game, Flash lasted for its entire energy, right? But in the second, that was not the case, and one of the dogs actually wound up coming down on you anyway.
Yeah, that was... I figured it was going to happen because I hadn't tried out the Flash stopper yet. And since I had already found the weakness of the dog, I rolled the dice, and I just switched over to Quick and burst him down. But yeah, I was like, figures. You know, you can't get lucky twice.
No, luck is rare in Mega Man, and even more so in the randomizer, it seems.
Well, I think, guys have anything else you want to say? I think we're getting close to the point where I think everybody's about ready to call it a night here.
Yeah, I think so. I just want to wish Apollo luck moving forward in the tournament here, and I can't wait to see the next race that you're in, man.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Thanks everybody for watching. It was a great race. Good times. I'm looking forward to either next week or whenever my opponent has the time to do a couple more races here.
Well, it looks like this week we'll find the rest of the races that are left to be done. Let me check real quick when those are going to happen so we can do the cheap shameless plug. Looks like Friday and Saturday. Friday we're going to have Mad Mega X against Resisting Frame, and Saturday at 5 o'clock we're going to have Metalo versus Kotaho, and that will finish up all of the qualifying stage matches. And then all we have left is, once those are done, to do the final bracket redraw, and we'll go from there.
Sounds like a plan. Well, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yep, thanks for coming
Have a good
in,
night.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
So what do you think, Kami? You better ready to shut it down, thank everybody, and call it a night?
I think so, man. Like I said, after 10, I'm about in zombie mode myself. I'd hate to be sitting here still at 4 a.m. trying to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. CapitanBublo, I am definitely going to give you some courage points there, as I don't think I would have scheduled a match at 2 o'clock in the morning, but hey, you do what you gotta do sometimes. You did a good job. Got to the Wily stages first in both of the games, but unfortunately, everything started to unravel a bit. So we'll go through, and first I'll thank you, Kame, for jumping in the commentary booth with me.
Oh yeah, man, it was fun. I enjoy doing this. Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot of commentary, but the more I do, I feel like the more comfortable I get in doing it. So it could only be a good thing to keep trying, right?
Well, you got to knock yourself out of a tournament or something like that, so you don't have other engagements that get in the way.
I don't have a race even like pending scheduling at this time. Not since my last one. I think I'm waiting on actually Mad Mega and Resisting Frame to do their race before I can have one.
Well, I think since you've qualified for the final bracket, that puts you into the redraw with xapollo and what will end up being 10 other people as well.
Even better then. I thought, see, I don't know how these things work. I don't know what a menu is, much less a bracket.
All right, we'll just put somebody, up against you and say, hey, you, fight to the death, go.
Got this.
But, I definitely got to thank xapollo and CapitanBublo as well for putting on a show for us tonight, and the Speed Gaming Network for hosting it. LV Creed, I believe, made the seeds, and Charlie Boy is our tournament organizer. I think without any of those, we wouldn't be here tonight doing any of this commentary.
And of course, let's not forget the Speed Gaming guys themselves who set up the restream and these wonderful commentator controls I absolutely made a horrid mess of.
Oh, that's all right.
But
Hopefully you learned what each of the buttons did as you
every time I think I learned it, and then every time I come back to it, it's different, and I don't know anything. But you know, I got it this time. Hopefully next time it won't be too different, or at least I'll catch on to the changes a little faster. You know, but either way, I'm thankful that all these things are in place, and we have all these wonderful people helping make sure it all works, because it really adds a great layer of professionalism to what is just a simple fact of two guys sitting down and playing a game and hoping one's faster than the other. It adds so much to it. So I just can't help but thank those guys every time we get to do one of these.
Yeah, and then, you know, the two of us just kind of sitting on a couch or sitting on a chair and being able to commentate on it all the same. You know, watching two guys. You know, but, all right, I think that's going to be about it for me, unless you have something else.
No, that's it for me as well.
Say our goodbyes.
Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you for the next one as soon. Well, you said it is scheduled already. Did
yes, it is Friday at 10 o'clock at night Eastern time.
All right.
The final match would be Saturday. Final match of the qualifying stage, and let me make that clear. It's not the finals of the tournament. Is at Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I think on behalf of Kamasenin, I am Frico, and that's going to be it for us here tonight with our Mega Man Randomizer. Just to recap real quick, xapollo taking the match 2-0. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.